What if I told you that one of the absolute best ways to fight heart disease isn't in some fancy pill, but right there in the produce aisle? Yeah, you heard me right. Today, we're going to dig into the science behind a super simple root vegetable that can literally protect your heart from the inside out. Okay, let's start with a question that might just flip everything you think you know on its head. We all think of heart disease as, well, a heart problem, right? But what if that's just the last scene of a really long, slow-moving movie? What if the real plot started decades ago, somewhere completely different in your body? You see, that's the whole point. Heart disease isn't some sudden event that just happens one day. Nope, it's the end result of a long, slow breakdown of your metabolic health. It's the final, dramatic chapter of a story that's been quietly unfolding for years, maybe even decades. So here's the deal. Long before your heart ever sends out an SOS, these are the real troublemakers working behind the scenes. We're talking about creeping insulin resistance, that low-grade, silent inflammation that's always simmering, blood vessels getting stiff and losing their bounce, and a liver that's just, well, getting overwhelmed. These are the real root causes. I absolutely love this analogy. You have to picture this. Think about inflammation not as some vague medical term, but as actual sandpaper rubbing away at the super delicate, smooth lining of your blood vessels. Ouch! That constant scraping and damage creates this rough, sticky surface, and that's the perfect place for cholesterol and plaque to grab on and start building up. And here's another huge piece of the puzzle. Our bodies are amazing, right? We have this built-in system to keep our blood vessels flexible and healthy. It's a tiny molecule called nitric oxide. But, and this is a big but, look at that number. By the time you're 70, your body's ability to make this stuff can drop by more than 50%. Let that sink in. That's a massive decline, and it's basically rolling out the red carpet for heart problems. Okay, so what if we could fight back? What if we could actually help restore that system? Well, that's where the hero of our story comes in, the totally humble, often overlooked beetroot. And listen, this isn't some old wives' tale. We're talking about real science here, using a simple food as a powerful tool to fix a specific biological problem. So what's the magic in beetroot? Well, it's packed, and I mean packed, with something called dietary nitrates. And here's the cool part. Your body is a little chemistry lab. It takes those nitrates and turns them right into that superstar molecule we were just talking about, nitric oxide. This is so important, so fundamental to our heart health, that the scientists who figured it out won a Nobel Prize for it. That's a pretty big deal. All right, let's zoom in a little closer. How does this actually work? We're about to break down exactly how boosting this one little molecule can have such a massive positive impact on your entire network of blood vessels. This comparison is just perfect. Think about it. With plenty of nitric oxide, your arteries are like a brand new, flexible garden hose. Water flows through, no problem. But without it, they turn into an old, rusty, kinked-up pipe. The pressure builds up, the flow gets choked off. You can see how that's a recipe for disaster. Here's another great way to think about it. Nitric oxide is basically the traffic cop for your bloodstream. It's the signal that tells the tiny muscles in your artery walls, okay guys, relax, widen up. It's what gives your blood the green light to flow smoothly and get all that vital oxygen exactly where it needs to go. So how do we get from a root vegetable to relaxed arteries? It's actually a super elegant four-step process. Step 1, you eat the beets. Simple enough. Step 2, and this is wild, special bacteria that live on your tongue get to work, starting to convert those nitrates into nitrites. Then step 3, once it's in your body, those nitrates transform into powerful nitric oxide. And the final payoff, step 4, your arteries get the signal to chill out and relax, which means better blood flow and lower blood pressure. It's that straightforward. And this isn't just theory. The science backs it up in a big way, especially for older adults. We're talking about studies showing that a daily dose of beetroot can drop systolic blood pressure by 8 to 10 points. That's huge. Plus, you can actually measure better blood flow in just a few hours. And as a bonus, it can even boost your performance when you exercise. Pretty amazing, right? But hold on, because the story gets even better. It's not just about blood flow. Remember those other villains we talked about at the beginning? Inflammation and all that? Well, beetroot goes after them too. It's like a multi-tool for your metabolic health, doing way more than just relaxing your arteries. Yeah, this is where you see just how versatile beets are. They're loaded with these unique antioxidants called betalains that go to war against oxidative stress. They also help your muscles get better at using glucose, which is a huge win for insulin sensitivity. And this one's so important, they give your liver some much needed support. And I just love this analogy. Picture your liver as this incredibly busy 24/7 recycling plant for your body. Beetroot comes in and acts like a major equipment upgrade, making the whole plant run more efficiently. And when your liver is happy and efficient, that means less inflammatory junk floating around in your bloodstream, causing that sandpaper-like damage to your arteries. Okay, so we've covered all the incredible whys. Now it's time for the how-to. Let's get practical. Here's a super simple, science-backed game plan you can literally start tomorrow to get all these benefits for yourself. So here's the breakdown, nice and simple. Your daily goal is about 1 cup of cooked beets or a glass of fresh juice, around 250 to 300 milliliters. Now, timing can be a game changer. Try to have it 2 or 3 hours before you're going to be active, like going for a walk. This really maximizes that blood flow boost. And here's a pro tip I love. If you're doing the juice, don't just chug it. Swish it around in your mouth for a few seconds. It sounds a little weird, but it gives those amazing bacteria on your tongue a head start on that nitrate conversion process. Oh, and pairing it with some healthy fats, think avocado or a drizzle of olive oil, that helps you absorb even more of the good stuff. Now, I really want to drive this point home. Consistency is everything. This is not a magic bullet you use once. The whole idea is to make it a daily habit, to consistently support that signaling system in your blood vessels that, let's face it, just doesn't work as well as we get older. It's the small thing you do every day that adds up to massive long-term change. And look, beets are amazing on their own, for sure, but they become a true superstar when you pair them with other healthy habits. Think of your health like an orchestra. Beetroot might be the first violin, playing a beautiful solo, but you get a truly breathtaking symphony when you bring in light exercise, good sleep, and the right foods, all playing together in perfect harmony. Let me give you a really simple but powerful example of what that looks like. You have a beetroot smoothie in the morning, which loads your system up with those nitrates. Then you immediately go for a brisk 15-minute walk. That walk tells your body, hey, I need more blood flow, and it stimulates even more nitric oxide production. See? You're stacking your habits. You're getting a 1-2 punch for an even bigger benefit. Okay, so let's boil this all down. What do you absolutely need to remember? First, heart disease doesn't start in the heart. It's the end game of years of metabolic issues. Second, nitric oxide is your body's best friend for flexible arteries, and its levels drop as we age. But the good news is, beetroot is a fantastic, natural way to bring those levels back up. It also helps with inflammation and liver health. And finally, and maybe most importantly, never, ever underestimate what a small, consistent daily habit can do. It can literally change everything. So that really just leaves us with one final thought. You don't have to completely upend your life to start making a real difference. Your journey to a healthier heart, to healthier blood vessels, can start with one single, tiny change. So the question I have for you is, what's your one change going to be tomorrow?